today we're going to be working on this premium silver band. And first of all, we're going to start out with a nice little annealing. Here I'm just starting to draw out both ends of this piece of metal to try and attempt to reduce the amount of filing that I have to do later on. I only have a few more things that I need to get before I can start casting things out of wax, and I am extremely excited to start doing that. So here we're annealing it again, and one thing I noticed is when I quench this metal, it ends up putting a bunch of little fractures in it, so I decided to not quench it anymore, and since I've started doing that, I haven't had any fractures in any of the metals. And by the way, this is not Argentine, this is my own version of the alloy. So I went back and forth, hammering and annealing for about an hour, mainly just because I was having fun with it. But there's probably different ways that I could have went about it, like probably throwing it through the roller. But hey, we're gonna get the same result either way. By the way, if you enjoy the content or you learned something, hit like and subscribe and follow along, because we have some amazing things planned, and I'm about to start working with gold. I think at this point in the process, I should check on how many annealings I've done already. At this point in the process, I'm underestimated out about 5,000 annealings, and I'm ready to just bend this thing into a circle already. This was actually my first time bending a piece of metal that wasn't the same dimensions all the way throughout, so I was kind of just taking my time and, playing around with it. I also noticed that it was putting marks in the metal, so I wanted to try out this plastic piece to see if it did it without putting marks in the metal. It was working, but then I realized for as much metal that I have to remove, I might as well just use the metal one anyway. By the way, this ring bender was a really cheap one that I got off of Amazon. I might end up bolting it down, but in the meantime it works pretty good for what it is. After fully bending this thing into a circle, I annealed it once more, cut off them tabs, and started filing it. After a decent amount of filing, this is what we're left with. After using the ring bender, the metal was all like twisted and warped, so I had to anneal it before I hammered it nice and flat. That little hammer just wasn't cutting it, so I had to bust out my super expensive nice hammer. After getting it flat enough, I decided to fuse it together. I tried to use this little nap gas torch, and it took me a while just to get it red hot, and it never ended up fusing it, so I decided to bring out the propane torch, which fused it right away, and I was really surprised that it worked this quickly. Now I'm just filing off any rough spots and making it perfectly smooth all the way around the inside of the ring. One thing I've noticed is with each ring that I make, I'm able to get it closer and closer to the final dimensions before I have to start filing it. Here I'm filing down the sides of the ring to give it kind of like a lip. At this point I didn't really realize how many gems that I was going to put in it, but I was just kind of winging it. After all that filing, this is what it looks like so far. Here it's the next day and I'm finally drilling some holes to put these gems into this ring. After taking a bunch of measurements, here I'm just putting the initial marks on where the holes are going to go. Now I'm slowly widening out these holes bigger and bigger. And you might be wondering why I do it like this. Well, it's because I don't feel like drilling a hole all the way through the ring. Now I'm filing the sides down a little bit closer to where the gems are going to be, because I left way too much material on the sides. Now I'm just removing a bunch of material off of the band so that it's thinner at the bottom and thicker at the top. After all of that, we're left with a ring that looks pretty nice so far. It's almost ready to put the gems in it. If you enjoyed the content or you learned something, please hit like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll be setting these gems in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.